This preview brought to you by Harness Racing Victoria.
Adam Hamilton with you. What a weekend of harness racing we've got coming up. A massive Saturday night. We've got this Melton program I'm going to have a look at now. Tabcorp Park Melton. It's a really strong card. The winner of the popular arm free-for-all will get a spot, a guaranteed spot, in the Victoria Cup in 3 weeks' time. As well as that, of course, we've got all of the action coming your way from Menangle's Tabcorp Park with the Miracle Mile meeting, one of the best meetings we've seen in a long, long time, and Greg Hayes and I will certainly have a good look at that program. But let's get into this Melton preview now, and it is a good meeting. We start with a race where I think that Selsmo holds the key. He was absolutely flying going back only a couple of months ago, and he's got really good gate speed. His form went off. Sensibly, trainer Dean Braun gave him a bit of a freshen up. He's been to the trials and he's won a trial impressively. He looks sharp for this. He gets a run as the emergency with the scratching, and he's drawn the barrier to use his gate speed. There's nothing flashy about this guy. He often looks under pressure in his races, but he does find a lot, and I think he's found a very suitable race here. Very good chance he could end up in front. Even if one of his main dangers, Night Affair, can get him for speed early on, Night Affair runs the gate very quickly. Night Affair would probably even look to take a trail. Kieran Manning trains and drives this one. So I'm going to go Selsmo on top, number 2, to beat Night Affair, who has that gate speed and can either lead or more likely take a trail. Future Operator's ultra consistent, and we'll need that little bit of luck from a wideish draw now outside of the front row, barrier 6. And Jasmine Sheffield loves the sprint trip and also gets her chance from the barrier draw. We'll start from 3 now with Selsmo getting into the field. So in race 1, I'm going Selsmo on the strength of the freshen up in the trial, 2 to beat 4, 6 and 3. Let's go to the second event tonight, and Peter Manning trains a very promising trotter here in We're Gonna Rock. A 3-year-old taking on the older rivals. Yes, it's a bit of a question mark, and so too is having to start from outside of the back row in this mobile trot race. But I think anybody who saw We're Gonna Rock win so impressively at Maryborough last time, yes, he might be a 3-year-old taking on the more seasoned older rivals, but there was a win of a trotter really going places at Maryborough. Made a little bit of an early mistake and recovered to win in ultra impressive fashion. I can't tip against him because I think he's simply better than the rivals he's meeting here. We're Gonna Rock number 13 on top. Now Bella Chevelle drops back in class from a pretty solid performance last time and has a nice draw from gate 3. Then we go to Basil Knight, who is a promising 4-year-old and can certainly be competitive. We'll need that little bit of luck from a wideish draw out there in 6. And If You Seek Flight, wonderful to see one of the really nice guys of harness racing in Matty Gaff find a nice trotter here. 2 from 2 this campaign, If You Seek Flight, and looks to be headed towards a pretty good season in the trotting ranks. Certainly come back in good form this preparation, but I'm going to go for the baby of the field in race 2, 13 ahead of 3, 6 and 5. Third race tonight, we see a very challenging assignment for punters, and that is because my top selection in an open race is the truly enigmatic Royal Deviate. Catch him on his best, he's a wonderful horse. He can do things wrong, he can race below his best, and then he can come out and run an absolute blinder. I thought he was pretty good last start when he copped a lot of heat in front and still battled it out well. He was only nabbed in the final stages. I'm going to put him on top, but every time I do, I put in that little disclaimer that take him on face value. Number 4, Royal Deviate to win. Now, Mr. Rufus has got good gate speed. He's racing in tremendous style. He'll be your favourite here. He's got the gate speed to either lead or take a trail. To be honest, he's probably even better when he takes a trail. I think there might be some chance Royal Deviate could get the front off him, but Mr. Rufus still the main danger. Stuck in second, just beat Royal Deviate, who copped that pressure in front last start and has got to be included in the mix. And Peter Manning's got a couple of them here drawn outside of the back row in Boys Talk. And Garibaldi Union, number 13, I'm going to make my 4th selection. 4, 2, 10 and 13 in race 3. Race 4 commences our quaddie tonight at Melton, and it's a really good race. Tim and Anthony Butt love coming over to pillage our feature races. And I think from memory they won this race last year with Mars Sish before he went on to run a placing in the Victoria Cup and win the Hunter Cup. They've brought a promising pacer across called Pass Them By, and we're going to go and have a look at Pass Them By's performance in the Kaikoura Cup, the last of the lead-up races towards the New Zealand Cup. He was out of his depth in the New Zealand Cup, but there he is back on the inside, Pass Them By, back on the marker pegs, needing a little bit of luck. It's a beautiful racetrack, Kaikoura. Fly Like an Eagle wins it, and watch for Pass Them By, 3 back on the inside in the white and maroon colours of Tim and Anthony Butt late.
50 metres left to go. Fly Like an Eagle's well clear of Phantom Grin. It's all Fly Like an Eagle. No one's going to rain on his parade today, and he bolts in. Fly Like an Eagle beat Phantom Grin and Pass Them By. Then Jimmy Johnson.
There was nothing flashy about his performance. He sat 3 pegs, but he still ran third in a race where Fly Like an Eagle would be about $1.04 to win a race like this. Pass Them By, he's got the wide draw, but he looks superbly graded in this restricted class event. I like him as one of my bets of the night, and it's a massive drop in grade from running into in a New Zealand Cup into this. He has drawn wide, and it's a sprint trip, but I'm clearly putting him on top, the 7. Kid Coconut was extraordinarily impressive winning last start. He's a bit of a tricky customer to follow, but when he's on song, he would be certainly the main danger. He's got really good gate speed. He loved rolling along in front in quick times last start. And Alchemy was good last start, but draws inside of the back row. Watch for an improved performance from the Phantom. Former very promising 4-year-old, has had a lot of issues. He'll be fitter for a couple of runs back from a break, and I think he's got a really good chance, the Phantom, even though he's got that outside back row draw. 7 to beat 5, 8 and 11 in race 4 to start the quaddie, but surely Pass Them By has got the class to make a winning start to this Melbourne campaign for Tim and Anthony Butt. Let's go to the 5th event here, and a former Kiwi mare in Carpenter's Daughter, trained by Gareth Dixon over there in New Zealand when she won the Breeders' Crown back in August. She's now with John and Marie Caldo. She's had a little bit of a break. She's been sharpened up for this with a trip to the Melton trials where she won well. And this is a really good race, but I still think on her class, even though she'll improve, you would expect on whatever she does, she's going to be very, very hard to beat here, Carpenter's Daughter. One of the better mares going around in Victoria at the moment, absolutely no doubt. So I'm putting her on the 6 on top, Carpenter's Daughter, to beat an interesting one in Victoria May. Now, her racetrack form is good, but this is a significant step up in grade for Alison Chisholm. But she has drawn nicely, and she also went to the trials last Tuesday and ran second to Chancellor Cullen in really quick time. So I'm putting her in the mix, number 2. Shake It Mum is a quality mare. She's not what she was as a youngster, but she's racing in pretty good style. She will need luck from the back row draw, but I think she's at her best these days when she's coiled up and saved for a late sprint. And Tara Top Lady, a stablemate of Shake It Mum, is trained by Emma Stewart. Jamie Lee King takes a drive from Barrier 1, and she's racing consistently and has that nice draw. Race 5, I'm going 6 to beat 2, 9 and 1. Melton race 6, Tim and Anthony Butt again hold the key to this one. This is a really good race for the trotters. There's fixed odds betting available. Let's take a look at the market on this one. They've got Vulcan, who in the space of 15 days last season won 4 Group 1 races, including the inaugural Great Southern Star. This season he's been away with the fairies. I don't know what has been going on with him this season, but he's come back in dreadful form. But he put the writing on the wall, and he booked this campaign across when he ran a good 4th in the Group 1 Dominion Trot during the New Zealand Cup Carnival. So I think it's really good form for this. Now let's have a look at him here, Vulcan. We've got Master Lavros in behind the leader, Stig. This is a very, very strong trotters race, and there's Vulcan sustaining his run. Sure, he's under pressure here, but I like the way he fights it out. Let's go to the call.
Going to go after him, 2 lengths to Stent, and then came Peak and Vulcan. It's Master Lavros on the inside of Stig. He hit the lead, Master Lavros, and then came Stent. The leader is Master Lavros. It's going to be the Dominion for 3 generation of Joneses, and Master Lavros won it for Mark Jones and beat Stig and Stent. 4th in goes to Vulcan.
Yeah, he made a long run, Vulcan. You saw his stablemate Peak loom up and he was going to go past him, and so he would have run fifth, Vulcan, but fifth in a race like that behind Stig, Master Lavros. Again, those trotters would just turn up and win this race. So he seems to enjoy being over here. He's going to be hard to beat, Vulcan. I like him a lot. He's $2.60 in the fixed odds markets. Mr. Zion is the obvious main danger. He's come back really well. He's got a lot of class about him. He won a marathon trot there on Kilmore Cup Day, and then he came out and ran a good fourth in a strong race at his most recent run. He's a main danger. Brief Glance is a good opportunist-driven set sprint, and Tended On was racing in tremendous form, but is finding it a little bit harder now. He's got to come from bad barriers against better quality horses. 6, With a Ring of Confidence, Vulcan, to beat 7, Mr. Zion, 10, Brief Glance, and 11, Tended On in the feature trot. Now we go to this race, the Popular Arm Free-for-All, which has been turned upside down by the scratching of the odds-on pre-post favourite Chancellor Cullen. He probably would have been too good for his rivals here. As I said, the winner gets a spot in the Victoria Cup in 3 weeks' time. He's going to be a tremendous chance. His stablemate, though, Mustang Mac. I quite like him in this race. Let's have a look if we've got the fixed odds market available for this one. The boys have been busily trying to update it. I'm Causing Terror and Mustang Mark are stablemates of the scratched favourite in Chancellor Cullen. Now, I'm Causing Terror had a beautiful run in transit at his most recent run, and he was coiled up in behind his stablemate Catch Your Breath, who put the pressure on the leader, and I'm Causing Terror won well. I think he's too short for mine. I think You're a Nut represents a bit of value at $3.60, and I like the $4.80 for Mustang Mac. Now, let's go to it. I'm going to tip Mustang Mac on top. He's been racing really well in better races. He can't really make his own luck. That's the one question mark on him, but I think he's found a suitable race here. This is a bit of a D-Day for Mustang Mac as far as him being a potential player in races like the Cranbourne Cup and the Victoria Cup over the next few weeks. I'm going to put him on top to beat another of these Tim and Anthony Butt visitors in Marsish. Now, Marsish, he won the Hunter Cup last year. He was placed in a Victoria Cup. His form tapered off, and this season he has been nothing short of dreadful over in New Zealand. They wouldn't be making this trip across unless they felt the trip to Melbourne could see him return to something like his best form. He will need luck from the back row, but ultimately the best of Marsish would make him very hard to beat in this race. You're a Nut. He'll be fitter for that first up performance where he looked like winning last week, but he just peaked on his run. He was going to win. He just ran out of fitness. Last campaign, he just roared through the grades. From memory, he won about 9 races on end. He will need that little bit of luck from a bad draw, but he's a big factor. And I'm going around I'm Causing Terror in my top 4. Look, he's got a great chance. There's no question about it, and you would have to put him in the mix, but I think he's under the odds. Mel Park Major, the old guy, he's a shadow of what he was, but he's got gate speed, he's got the draw, and he may even want to take a trail. That might be his best chance now. So in the Popular Arm, I'm going 5 to beat 9, 12 and 2. Continuing the strong New Zealand flavour on this meeting, we've got the outstanding 3-year-old trotter of last season of David Butts in Habibti coming across to have an Australian campaign. Habibti here last season won the Victoria Trotters Oaks, was second in the home field, an extraordinary run on that occasion, and won the New South Wales Trotters Oaks as well. She is a wonderful trotting mare now as she is at the age of 4. She's been prepared for this, and even though she takes on older rivals, I think her class should see her get through. I'm going 5 for Bibdi to beat the main danger, Son of an Earl, resuming from a break. Certainly very, very good form last campaign for the Brent Lilly stable. Brent Lilly does a wonderful job with his trotters. He's also got Abbots Hall drawn the pole here. And Maori Vacation is racing in tremendous style. A promising trotter, but does have that tricky draw from inside of the back row to contend with. I'm going Habibti with the class on top to beat 3, 8 and 1 in race 8. Let's go to the 9th event, and here, well, Dean Braun's got a strong hand in this meeting. Catch Your Breath, only about a month ago, beat Smokin' Up and rivals, and a really good bunch of rivals in the Popular Arm Sprint at Kilmore on Cup Day. Gee, he looks well graded here. He should bludgeon his way to victory. It's a big drop in grade from the free-for-alls he's been in lately, and he's got good gate speed. He should just work his way across and get the lead. I doubt anything would want to hold him out. Even if he's got to face the breeze in a claimer, he should surely be too good for them class-wise. Catch your breath. He'll be short, but should be winning the claimer. To beat Smudge Bromack, who must be sick of getting into these claimers and having to deal with catch your breath all the time. Smudge Bromack usually wins the claimers when there's no catch your breath. He finds it very hard to beat catch your breath, particularly because catch your breath has drawn better and has superior gate speed. Keyang Russell is the watch runner. He was adequate first up. On his best form, he would be very hard to beat in a race like this. Can he improve significantly on the first up run? If he does, he's a winning chance. And Lovable Larrikin, pretty tricky to follow, but certainly on his best form would be in the mix. In race 9, the claimer, I'm going 5 to beat 7, 3 and 6. Last of 10 at Melton. It's a disappointing finish, to be honest. There's only 5 left now with a couple of scratchings. These horses came through a qualifying heat run at last Sunday's Gunbower Cup meeting. The form's there, and even though I'm tipping the horse that was beaten in the heat, it was beaten and clearly the best run in that heat. Young Modern I'm speaking about, probably made a mistake and gave away 15 to 20 metres early on, and was absolutely terrific to still do the work and battle away and run third in that heat. It's simple. If Young Modern does it right and runs up to what we saw against the same horses at Gunbower last weekend, he really should be winning this race. Young Modern on top. Presidential Secret won the qualifying heat but had everything go right. Honest customer, no star, but has drawn nicely. Paint the Hammer will probably be the leader here. Even if it's crossed early, there's a great chance it'll come around and retake, and we'll run a bit of a cheeky race. They're the only 3 horses with any considerable ability. Maybe Sutter Man from Barrier 1 might end up 3 pegs and be best of the rest. But 6 to beat 4, 2 and 1 in a disappointing finish to the meeting, race 10. Otherwise, it's an absolutely fantastic program. Let's have a look at the summary of it now. Going to make my best bet, the class runner, Pass Them By. I'm a fan of the Tim and Anthony Butt team bringing their horses over for this meeting. I think they've got class runners in suitable races. Race 4, number 7, Pass Them By, my best bet. And value, well, he's not really value as such, but he is, because I think he should be about $2, and you can get $2.60 for Vulcan in the fixed odds markets at the moment. So race 4, number 7, Pass Them By, the best. Race 6, number 6, Vulcan, my next best on the meeting. Suggested quaddie for me, I'm going to go Pass Them By, 1 out in the first leg. Let's try and cut the costs and get a big chunk of this. In the second leg of the quaddie, very, very open, the mare's race for mine. Carpenter's Daughter looks the one to beat, but I think we've got to go wide just with her being first up. Popping in numbers 1, 2, 4, 6, 7 and 10. Then in race 6, this is the Trotters race. I'm taking Vulcan, but with the insurance of Mr Zion as well, who looks the only real danger, numbers 6 and 7. And then with Chancellor Cullen out, I'm going to come home in the last leg with numbers 5, 6, 9 and 12, and you could pop in the favourite number 10, I'm Causing Terror, if you wanted to, but if you stick to my numbers, that'll cost you $48 to get 100% if we are on target with our selections. Really good program of harness racing coming up at Melton tomorrow night. The highlight, the Popular Arm Free-for-All, where the winner, as mentioned, gets that spot into the Victoria Cup field, and to complement the meeting at Melton, we've got that awesome program from Menangle's Tabcorp Park for the Miracle Mile meeting. Good luck if you're getting involved in harness over the weekend. Don't forget to check out the good form at harness.org.au for all the very latest on the meeting. Good punting.
This preview brought to you by Harness Racing Victoria.